Welcome back to Paradigm Shift, where our journey through the rebalanced AI War 2 continues. Seconds after the end of the last episode, the CPA counter began. And so now it's down to 2 minutes. You get a 10-minute warning. We've been building up a few things. I did get a bunch of the turrets from the Paralysis Citadel set down in here. I think we're more than capable. I want to make sure they don't feel like attacking this system, or if they do, they get smashed. And then we've been wandering around, and I did find one thing that would be useful to us. There's a bunch of Warden that, has been collecting over in this area, so I went around it. Basically, the idea is to hem it in. It has no way to escape now with our fleet in here. On the last episode, if you happen to read the comments, Democracy put some really interesting things in there about different strategies we could try. For example, he's a big fan of cutting off the flow of Hunter and Warden throughout the galaxy, so perhaps taking a system like Yankee Mike, and another one like this one, would keep them all bottled up towards the homeworld. Now, I find in difficulty 7 that's not really necessary, so I'm not trying to go that high level with the strategy here, but it's definitely something you can do. When you do get a pocket, though, of them like this that you can isolate, it's always good to knock them out, especially if you're not doing anything else at the time, which is kind of the case here. I do want to do some research, though, ahead of the CPA. So I want to get, you can see the value here for this, 20 more strength for the ambush for the fleets and more for the defenses. I want to grab one of those. Also want to update my piercing. We've got a few ships of that. And then I want to do some direct upgrades on some of these. Just get one higher level because it's pretty cheap on the battle station turrets. And then we're going to go up one on the citadels. And I'm going to go higher than that on the newly acquired golems. So as before, if you spend the first 3 levels, they're much cheaper than going up further. Now, I may, in fact, decide that it's worth going up beyond Mark IV with these. But going at least that far, I think, is a relative no-brainer. And, like the botnet, for example, was the 38 strength item. Now it's 104. It's got over 300,000 DPS and combined shields and hull of 4.5 million compared to 1.8 million initially. So that's all going to work out very well for us. And then, okay, that was the last few ships in here. So we want to head into Murdoch. That's where most of the rest of them are awaiting us. There we are. Hello, friends. They've zombified some of our stuff. But, knocking them out where they can't escape. Always useful. And when fully rebuilt, those upgrades will also knock our main fleet up to somewhere in the vicinity of 150 strength. Which is not... That's not endgame strength yet. But it is very solid quality mid-game fleet. And I'm starting to push them back. They're running away. Let's get up here towards this wormhole because we're going to want to follow them in. Throw a bit to the side to knock out those vanguards, and in we go again. And they're going to want to try to escape here, so I actually don't want to go on pursuit. I just want to hang out here by the wormhole and use the the shield from Rorkal Hagira to keep them from getting away. So I think all in all here we're going to end up taking somewhere like 35 to 40 strength of the Warden fleet down. And also, they've got this new thing on the sidebar where you can break out ships not just as icons, but you can also have the list. And I don't like how much it scrolls when you do this, but a lot of people have a difficult time identifying like the icon with the text. And it's worth noting it may not scroll as much on your system in some of these because I do have the interface scaled up for the purposes of the video. But still, I find it's just too much up and down, and I'll forget to set this in a place where I can, monitor my flagships and whatnot. So whoops, that's not what I wanted to change. There we go. Back to icons. That's the way that I'm going to play it out. Okay, and now that all that's cleared up, we will head back to the home world with all of you. We're about to find out just how much fun this is going to be. Okay, 225 strength. The majority, biggest number of them anyway, at the Mark 4 and Mark 5 levels, it appears. So, you're all going to hop in here. And I'm just going to boost the speed until they start arriving. Because, of course, with this Tsunami CPA, they can hit at any system and will often attack multiple targets. Spread out as opposed to all concentrating in one ball. And, okay, I think we're starting to get some arrivals now. So, let's see. We actually got some down here, briefly. Looks like Parataxis is where they're going to be coming for the moment. Which means I should send over the botnet. And Malm is getting hit. If they come in here much stronger, I'll start spouting some outguard. Definitely the bulk of them coming in here, which is just fine. Let's see what a Mark IV botnet does. They're going to hit New Hogan. Over here with a nice big wave. So let's move our fleet into the homeworld then later to knock them out. Make sure this is clear first. Yeah, Malm needs help. So we're going to go ahead and spawn at least a couple of these. And that'll be enough if they don't come in stronger. And then you can see over here, you know, we've got hundreds of ships. And we're doing just fine, thank you.
Firing up half engines.
Alright, switching to New Hogan. And it looks like we're doing the job here. We've knocked out the majority of their CPA. So that was quite a routine defense. I thought they might overrun a system, one of the remote ones without the outguard, but they did not. And they probably would have in here if we hadn't spawned them in. And then once this wave arrives in New Hogan, it gets dealt with. That'll be quite routine with the amount of force that we have in here. And then we'll just be able to move on to the SuperTerminal. Took about 15 minutes, but we are now set up here in Yasmer for the SuperTerminal hack. We have pulled everything of value in here, and we're going to depend on our defenses and outguard to defend elsewhere. We'll need to be careful and react to that if it happens, but our outguard, for example, you can't use Hereward the Wake or Spire Archivist over here because they won't work on AI planets. So we will have some resources that aren't useful that will delve in. Now, are very low on energy, and we've maxed out on metal. The energy part, we had to get a couple of these matter converters. You can see they convert metal to energy inefficiently, but they do it. Just to build everything that we wanted over there to max out our force. So we'll definitely want to take these down after the battle is over and we're in a metal crunch to recover. In here, we're just going to get this started. If we notice, maximum length is 20 minutes. We're not going to be able to last that long. It's always good to take a note of where you are. 145 AI progress, 180 reduction. So how high that AIP reduction gets, we'll do a little math and subtract that out. That'll tell us how effective it's going to be. And we will not last 20 minutes. Of that, I can guarantee. Okay, we need to select a single hacker and try again. We'll use the hive. And away we go. So we're just going to be waiting for them to gradually start spawning, and it will ramp up over time. I expect the botnet here to be a star in this. We've got all our area minefields nearby. They're ambushed, which of course are great at knocking out ships right after they spawn. And then we've also got grenade launcher turrets floating around in here as well, the short-ranged ones. Back here we have concussion. There's a few plasma built in there as well. Of course, our main fleet, the hive golem, all of our battle station citadels, and the botnet. And of course, it does take some time for this to scale up, especially when you start up with low response, but that's good. We're gradually ticking away, lowering our AI progress. We now have 10 in. And generally speaking, a respectable... This is traditionally pre-beta, so I don't know how the balance is going to shake out now. But for purposes of comparison, a decent SuperTerminal hack was about 60 AI progress. Which, I mean, that's good. That's as much as you get from Major Data Siren. Actually, you get less than that because you end up paying the system cost for it. So, 60 AI progress is powerful. Hoping to exceed that here. And it's also a hack where there's a lot of brinksmanship. Assuming you're not going to last the whole 20 minutes, which I don't think is even remotely reasonable. What point do you cut it off? You just click it and cancel it if you want. But at what point do you want to do that? For me, in order to make a balance between sort of getting a good amount out of it and then not wanting to be overrun by the response at the end, I generally go with when they have about twice as much force in the system as we do. We're starting at about 900, but we'll have less than that by the time they start wearing us down. Which they will do. It is only a matter of time. And we are starting to get some slowdown here. So we're going to need to be gradually boosting the speed, and it'll probably get a little bit jerky as we do this. But I want to make sure we're keeping it somewhere close to normal combat speed. It's not a complete slideshow that way. We are now sitting at, okay, we have a 27 reduction. And, you know, they're not getting more than about 30 strength in the system right now. Okay, that one got up to about 45 or 50, but we are still easily handing them. There's not even any point in me spawning an out guard yet. We're getting close to it, though. We are now at our floor, so we can't reduce AI progress any further for the purposes of, you know, having them have lower response here. You can see we're still on very easy, but once this hacking point's, you know, spent, as they gradually get spent here, once that ticks up over 100, then we're going to begin to see even increased response. And they're starting to build up enough. I'm going to spawn in our outguard. And if we survive long enough, I don't know if we will, but if we survive long enough, we could even reach a point where we can spawn those outguard in again. If you last for 5 minutes, we will see. We almost got them down all the way there, but then they spawned in more. Other than our mines, they really haven't, like, destroyed a whole lot. So we are at almost 50. And they're going to come into... They have an instigator, which is just spawning additional threat ships. And they also have a wave that's going to hit Delario. So we do have to keep an eye on all that stuff as well. Okay, here we go. Dire grenade launcher. There's a heavy beam one in there. So they're starting to throw their weight around more. But we're still doing okay. Sort of. It's starting to get a little bit interesting here. 55 and counting. Okay. So you're running away here trying to chase my hive golem. I think that's probably a doomed effort. You see, we've got quite a few zombies, but they're almost equal to us. Starting to plow into everything that we have. So, yeah. How's our Arc Guard doing on the time? Still about 3 minutes. I don't think we're going to get far enough to call them in again. Okay, they're a little bit stronger than us now, so it's not going to be long until we bail. Look at the, yes, isn't that fun? We're at about 70 now. Alright, let's head on over to Delario here real quick. Takes it a bit to actually pause. But they're going to hit us with 103 strength. We're going to throw out Spire Archivist and Hereward the Waken here just to defend as much as we can against that. And we're almost, it's almost time for us to go. Okay, I think we've hit it. This is the point of, if I can pause it here. Actually not responding to me trying to pause it. Okay, I definitely want to cancel the hack though. Yeah, because so much is going on, the game is not wanting to register that I'm pausing. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to let my turrets clean up as much of this as they can. Let's just withdraw back to the wormhole. Nope, nope, I don't want you coming over there. Not sure why you are. Come back. Delario is a bit of a tight battle. The instigating continues. But, yeah, and the Hive Golem is not doing what I wanted to. Back up. Because as long as that can continue spawning. Okay, we lost Delario. And we're in a bit of an energy crunch at the moment. I think, just to be sure, I'm going to come back here and add another matter converter. There we go. I want to watch that energy situation. See, we have thousands of zombies, over 100 strength of them. So they're not having a whole lot of fun with that situation. That's really going to help us recover here. New Hogan is now getting hit. And I think we're probably going to lose it. So it's a tough call. We're still outnumbered here, but not to such an extent. I'm going to evacuate now my main fleet. Okay. And you are going to retreat. And I basically just want to make sure that we don't lose, you know, our home world. Even if we lose New Hogan, that's okay. I don't want to lose too much here. I think, you know, we're going to probably fight them off here with what's left. I'm hoping we are, in any case. And I think I will also now evacuate my support fleet.
I have the same thought myself.
Alright, how we doing? Still thousands of zombies, really helping us out. So our final number on that was 76. And that's credible, I'll take it. Alright. Where's our fleet at? Because we're gonna have a brownout here if we don't stop the attack in New Hogan. I think we're gonna get there in time though.
Nav systems have been updated.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. We should be able to fight them off. Matter of fact, I think they're gonna run. Possibly. Yeah, we're down. We're going to hold them off in Yasmer eventually. This is going to work. We just got a lot of cleanup to do. So, I mean, we could have... You can see by the effect that we have with our zombies here. We probably could have pushed it a little bit further. But at a certain point, you have this exponential, you know, response that's happening. And you're getting overwhelmed by greater and greater disparity of numbers. And it just becomes something that's not... It's not worth getting that little bit extra unless you're just doing something where you're just really trying to max it out for the purposes of maxing it. Okay. Excuse me. I have some territory to reclaim. Yep, Warden are in here too. All the better. Anybody who wants to stay can be eliminated. Anybody who wants to have the intelligence to leave can do so. Except that they're being tractors, so they really don't have the choice to leave, which is even more beneficial. So you're going to rebuild in about a minute, even with enemies around, and less than that once we eliminate. Excellent. And we now have the advantage in Yasmer. Total threat now almost under 1,000. You get this down to about 200 or 300, and I'll feel pretty secure. Until then, we're going to just keep fighting this out. And what's our zombie count out? I'm just curious. Oh, yeah. Almost 500 strength AI zombies. 15,000 ships. So, they will obviously, once this is over, those zombies are just going to fly around and cause all kinds of chaos in the surrounding AI systems, which is just fine with me. It'll be quite a while before they cleanse themselves entirely. They're going to try to... Yeah, they tried to launch a reconquest wave on Delario before it rebuilt its defenses. That's why it's so weak. We'll easily handle that. Okay? They're going to try to throw a wave at us. And notice at the beginning of this, we had 145 AIP. Their waves are over 100 strength. Now their waves are at, 70 strength. Which is not nearly as much to worry about. But if the rest of their, 10,000 Pike Corvettes would be kind enough to go away. Where is our fleet at? It's almost here. And 20,000 zombies. Like, we have a ridiculous amount of zombified, Corvettes here. I mean, imagine if we'd upscaled the botnet even further. So if this doesn't teach you the value of a botnet golem, basically nothing will. Again, it does have its weaknesses. And now we've got, shots stuck in midair. So that's pretty fun. And they are hitting us reasonably hard on the homeworld, which I don't like. So we're just going to... I'm spawning them all in here. I'm making sure this isn't a problem, basically. And they're just about worn out here. under 1,000 now. And I think definitely probably past time, but I'm going to just eliminate all my turrets. We're going to, you know, get the metal converters down, and it's time to just reset and move forward with what are our goals going to be now that we're done with the SuperTerminal hack. So, short while later, we're a little below 3 hours into the game now. We have recovered fully from the SuperTerminal. Game speed is recovered to normal amount. We still have some zombies obviously floating around there doing various things on our behalf. But we can begin to look forward. And what's going to happen in the next episode is we're going to look at doing a bunch of hacking and expanding our force much larger. Probably larger, frankly, than it needs to be. But the AI progress here, if you do the math, like, we would be down at about 70 if it wasn't for the floor. So we got about 40 plus AI progress that we effectively can grab. It's a couple systems worth, or maybe a system with a golem or something of that nature. Plus, we're going to want to do some hacking of the ARS and TSS and just generally scale up our force for the endgame push. So that'll be coming up next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Paradigm Shift and AI War 2 will continue.